So have a close look at this fella. His name is Samson.
We had one of those.
Samson is one of 26 different species of monitor lizards found in Australia. All different sorts of shapes and sizes. You get some tiny little monitor lizard you can fit in the palm of your hand. But the largest monitor lizard in the world, you're not going to fit him in the palm of your hand. Can anyone guess what the largest lizard in the world is? Yeah? Not really, because we only really call them goannas in Australia. The largest one's actually not found in Australia. It's the Komodo dragon. He's actually a monitor lizard, so he's the largest. The largest one in Australia is called the Parenti. The Parenti monitor, he's a desert-dwelling monitor. Samson is a desert-dwelling monitor as well, but the Parentis might grow to be virtually as large as me. It's a big lizard. Australia's largest lizard is the Parenti. We've also got another species, well, we've got lots of species of different monitor lizards, but here on the east coast there's a species similar to this, if you like, similar size, one of the larger ones. We've got Merton's lizards. We've also got one called the lace monitor, and the lace monitors are one of the most common species. You'll see them up in the hinterland if you're bushwalking around this local area, and you see a lizard like this, most likely to be a lace monitor. They are very, very impressive as well. They're a little bit different. Lace monitors will actually climb up the trunks of trees. These guys rarely climb trees, but he may have the ability to climb a tree, but he lacks the big long toes and the massive big long tail that the lace monitors have. So they're a little bit different design. This guy will eat birds, mammals, venomous snakes. Pretty awesome menu. He will also eat dead animals. And these lizards can find a dead animal from maybe 2 kilometres away. Now, how do they find a dead animal from that far away? How do they locate it? How do you reckon they locate it? No, they do use a sense, but it's a different. It's not quite smell. They've got a good smell, they've got good eyesight, and they've got good hearing, but they've got exceptional taste. And I'm not talking about fashion. Right, this guy's got a very, very big, long tongue. It's a very powerful sensory organ. He's also got what we call a Jacobson's organ in the roof of his mouth. It's like a computer system that analyses what that tongue is tasting. Now he's starting to flick his tongue in and out of his mouth. Hopefully everybody can see Samson from over there. He's starting to taste the air and he's going to start looking for food. And he's going straight for that little boy. Alright, we're going to have to get his mind off the children in the front row. He's always eyeing off the children and licking his lip. Now he's going for the pram. Alright, what we're going to do, we're going to get a little bit of meat. Stick a little bit of meat on top of this rock. Keep your eye on the meat, but also keep your eye on Samson. Scent particles will drift across the air. He'll pick up those scent particles with his tongue. And then he'll keep tasting those scent particles. He'll drift all the way over. Oh, what the? What do you want? Who are you? What do you want? It's a bit of a standoff by the looks of it. That is what we call a bush stone curlew. And that bush stone curlew is eyeing off Samson. This could be an interesting part of the show, actually. That's pretty weird. It's the bird show's next. This is a reptile show. That's pretty weird. Oh, someone's lost their little bird. These guys are supposed to be at the bird show, not the reptile show. Right, this is Shannon, everybody, and this is Mumbles, Shannon's bird that she's been training.
Why can't we?
Now, you're going to have a bit of trouble there. We'll feed you in a minute, Samson. But what we might do, Shannon, is not go this way, because lizards do eat curlews. Alright, maybe bring the pet pack over in the corner there if you can, Shannon. So bear with us, everybody. This is why you should never work with animals and children. No. Alright, no, you sort of want to put that against. Do you want to just help her out a little bit, Marvin? So this is sort of exciting for everybody. This is like, uh-oh.
Can you see the birdie?
Alright.
Yeah, it's in there.
Marley's a professional curlew rounder-upperer. Alright. Slowly, 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 slowly. 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 Yeah, you might have to grab. There we go. That's what happens to naughty little curlies. Give them a round of applause, guys. They did alright. Thanks, Marley. Alright, so we better feed Samson though, because his food's got stolen. That was pretty unexpected, wasn't it, Samson? I've got some more food for Samson. We've got a juicy white mouse. It's delicious. Have you tried one? Alright, try and get Samson. Locate the scent of this mouse. Swirl it around a bit. Look at that big long tongue. I don't know if you can see it over there, but I'll try and get him over nice and close. What he'll do is pretend he's not interested, and then he'll suddenly strike out. He's got different hunting behaviours, this guy. As I said, out in the wild, this lizard could use that tongue to locate food that might be 2 kilometres away, and he'll taste those scent particles from that distance. So it's a very, very powerful sensory organ. Now, this is breakfast, Samson. It's very, very yummy. Alright, we're going to show you how these lizards can literally stand up on their back legs. One more try, Samson. They are incredible lizards. There you go, just like that. Give him a clap, guys. Thank you, Samson. If you see one of these guys out in the bush, they look cute and cuddly, but don't try and catch it or cuddle it or kiss it or anything like that. You want to respect these guys just like you would respect a snake. Treat them like you would a venomous snake. If you got bitten by this guy, you could be in some serious trouble. You're going to get a severe bite. That bite could become severely infected very, very quickly. Especially if it's a species called the lace monitor. They're pretty sure that the lace monitors, well, they know that they've got venom glands. They're starting to believe that the saliva actually contains venom. They're doing current studies on that species right now. We know the big Komodo dragons have got that toxic saliva as well. So leave these guys alone in the bush because, just like the snakes, they'll bite to defend themselves. We're going to get one nice group of reptiles out, and we're going to let Samson digest that mouse. We're going to get some pythons out on stage. A few people have mentioned, I think someone mentioned a diamond python. I'm not sure if we've got a diamond. We'll see what we've got today. Because venomous snakes are different than pythons. They've got different methods of hunting. Pythons are non-venomous, but they do have teeth. They've got up to about 70 to 100 needle-sharp teeth in their jaw. And this guy here, his name is Tanami. Tanami is from the Tanami Desert. He's what we call a Centralian carpet python. There's a few different species of carpet python found in Australia. There's a species on the Gold Coast, just like that snake there, a little bit different. They grow the same size. That snake can grow up to 4 metres long, 3 or 4 metres long. We've also got another beautiful snake over here that Marley's got.
Up here, look.
And that snake that Marley's got is one of the largest species as well. It's what we call an olive python. Now, as I said, we've got a species of python here on the Gold Coast. It's called the coastal carpet python. Similar to this, but they're that common on the Gold Coast. They say 1 in every 3 houses on the Gold Coast is likely to have a big snake like this living up in the ceiling. 1 in every 3 houses. That's a lot of snakes. That includes all the tourist accommodation as well while you're at it. Now, can anyone guess why you might have a big snake living up in the ceiling? Possums, yeah. If the snake's big enough, it will actually kill and eat a possum. And there are some big enough on the Gold Coast to eat possums. They love rats and they love mice. So it's actually quite beneficial having a big snake up in the ceiling, cleaning up all your rats and mice. It's like having a natural rat trap up in the ceiling. There is also another benefit of having a big snake up in the ceiling. If you've got someone working on your roof, they'll get their job done a lot faster if they see a big snake up there. So we've got all sorts of benefits. So we've got the olive python over there, we've got the Centralian carpet python right here. The smallest species in Australia is called a pygmy python, as the name suggests, about 50 centimetres long for the smallest species. But the longest species of python here in Australia gets a lot longer than both of these ones. It's called the amethystine python, and they can grow over 8 metres long. That's a massive snake, one of the largest snakes in the world. But what we might do, we might get ourselves a volunteer to come out. And it looks like you're the first hand that I saw, so I don't know if you wanted to put that hand up or not now. Anyway, is that your friend as well? Do you want to just wave goodbye to your friend? Alright, come out on stage. We've got a beautiful snake for you to handle. Come out this way, just line up over there. You did put up your hand. Alright, come out through the gate. we're going to demonstrate how to properly handle a dangerous python. No, it's not that dangerous. What's your name, darling? Brooke. Give Brooke a round of applause, everybody. Very brave.
Right there.
Now, Brooke, meet Tanamai. Come and stand. We're going to get a professional photographer out here as well. Now I'm going to wrap this snake around your neck. How do you feel about that? Alright, we're going to stick him over there and just hold him just there and just put your hand gently under there. This is exactly how we do it, guys. And get a photo. This snake is pretty good. He hasn't bitten anyone for quite a while anyway, so he's a good snake. I think we better give it one last round of applause. Well done, Brooke. Now if you do come out and you handle the snake and you feel nervous, as I said, just like the just stay still. Don't make any sudden movements, don't freak out. Then you're going to freak the snake out and then he might bite you. But he's not going to bite you as long as you stand still. He won't bite you at all. But what we're going to do, we're going to get another animal out on stage, and you can be first in line. Brooke, if you stand over towards that gate, we're going to be joined by a cute and cuddly Australian possum, a golden brush-tail possum. So we're going to give everyone a chance very shortly to come up and actually literally pat and feel the beautiful soft fur of that cute little possum, but also a chance to handle a magnificent Australian species of python. This guy's an absolute beauty. He's quite a big python to handle. Now, before we let everybody come out, there's a couple of rules. One is we can't wait for your personal photos. The animals are only out for a certain amount of time. And do not bring your own cameras up on stage either. Other than that, guys, give our beautiful snakes and our mammals a round of applause, everybody. So you can line up over this side for the snake, over that side for the possum. But listen up closely, everybody.
Está seda. ¿Viste?
Wow.
Es colorido.
Alrighty, good afternoon. Oh, you guys can do better than that. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Hi, my name's Nat, and I've got Cam standing to my right here. He's going to make sure I don't lose any fingers today. But we are going to take a little bit of a journey and tell you a little bit about some of our favourite animals here in the park, South crocodiles. First of all, though, if you did come up the top today, you would have noticed.
Mira.
So you're going to be pretty hungry today. You would have noticed our big guy.
Yeah, go ahead.
Holly, who's our saltwater crocodile. Now, Holly up top is over 5 metres in length. He weighs just under a tonne, and he turned 40 in March last year. So he's one of the largest crocodiles in captivity, or even in the wild today, which is pretty big for us. But these are guys we're going to be focusing on today. Now, the big one on top before I focus on these guys is a salty or a saltwater crocodile. And you're not really familiar with that term, they're going to be salty, but it is a fairly new So don't think if you are travelling to crocodile country that if you don't see, if you swim in a freshwater billabong, that you're not going to have, that you're not going to have a 5-metre saltwater crocodile lurking beneath. Now you will have to be fair with me today if I pause throughout the presentation, as I'll be concentrating on these little guys below. Now the freshies, probably one of our favourite crocodiles, they only reach 3 metres in length, so they're small, just like me. But these little tackies, we don't actually know how old they are. They could be 60, maybe even 80 years of age. But you can see that they only reach the maximum size they get to is at 3 metres in length. It's the maximum size. And that has a lot to do with what they consume or eat. In the wild, freshwater crocodiles eat prey about the size of your thumb. So 76% of what they consume are items no bigger than that. So little crustaceans, yabbies, mud crabs, maybe fish struggling at the water's edge, so they actually hardly eat anything larger than the size of a man's fist. So big side relief for us because we don't film in a menu. They don't find us tasty. Watch that one there for me. They don't find us tasty. Whereas in northern parts of Australia, this particular behaviour is actually not common. These crocodiles are actually fairly shy and elusive crocodile. Where you guys? And we prefer to retreat underneath the log or rock and not come out until they feel it's safe. They don't be fooled, they've got very sharp teeth, and I assure you, they will defend themselves if they're provoked in the wild. Just catch my breath for a second. But the crocodiles have outlasted the dinosaurs in 360 million years. They've been here for. It's got a lot to do with their lifestyle, the way they live today, and their unique sensory organs. And what I'm actually doing at the moment, tapping the bucket on this bank, is sending vibrations through the water. Now, all alongside the crocodile's jaws, you'll notice tiny little black dots. These little black dots are called pressure dome receptors, and they are what pick up all minute vibrations which travel through the water. Come on, buddy. So, they believe the crocodile can even feel the vibration of a human heartbeat from over 400 metres away. Now have a look at this guy, he's got his head out of the water, and you guys can see all three main sensory organs on the top of his head. So you see his nostrils just on the top here. Oh, that was a very good shot. His nostrils on the top. And also his eyes and his ears are the tiny black lines just behind his eyes. The crocodiles actually have three eyelids, so one on top, one on the bottom, and a third one with a tiny membrane which comes across the eye and acts as a pair of goggles or wind wipers as they swim through the water. So they're those main sensory organs. But might have to get myself out as a spot. It's pretty warm today, and which actually leads me to my next thing I might just talk about, is it? Crocodiles are ectothermic, meaning solar heated, ecto, meaning outside. So they rely on that outside temperature to actually control their body temperature. In the winter months of the year, these guys hardly even blink an eyelid. You can barely even see them move. And that's because they slow their heart rate down to a point where it's just ticking over in winter. And that's because the sun beating down, are you going to let me come down? That sun beating down on their scoots or their scoots that are on top of their back, they have all these blood vessels, and those sort of blood vessels are what warm up and create that warmth. And so they slow that body temperature down. That's why you don't find crocodiles as far south, as it's just too cold for them to live in the winter months of the year. But if you are heading to crocodile country, that's anywhere from Rockhampton on the east coast of Australia right up into that tip into Cape York and to Broome on the west coast. That's what we refer to as crocodile country. And the government has made up a list of 10 rules of how to act appropriately. And they go along the lines of don't throw a stick in for your dog to catch. Don't go fishing near the water's edge. Fairly common sense stuff, but there's really only one rule to remember. Don't go near the water. If you want to go for a swim, swim in a swimming pool instead. Because the fact is a crocodile, as you guys saw today down the front, a crocodile can propel more than half their own body length out of the water in one burst. So they've got that powerful tail that can launch themselves out of the water. And we've made up a pretty cool rule here at Currumbin. So if you don't remember any of our presentation today, just remember 15-15. That means don't go near the water's edge more than 15 metres and don't spend longer than 15 minutes there. That way in crocodile country, you should be pretty safe. Now crocodiles are hyped up through the media to be big many killing machines, but they play a vital role in the survival of wetland life. And what I mean by that is that one female crocodile has between 20 and 60 eggs in a year. But only one of those runs the body out of it and reproduce again. The rest are eaten by goannas, feral pigs, seagulls, maybe even other crocodiles. So they continue on the food chain and an ecology of wetland life. So if you do want to conserve them in the wild, it's pretty easy. It's actually just by appreciating them. But please, appreciate them from a distance. And through appreciation comes conservation. Well, this afternoon, I on behalf of our crocodiles, myself and Cam, if you do want to gain further appreciation of these awesome animals, head up to the gazebo and you can have a hold of our saltwater crocodile. But I'm going to catch my breath and then come down the corner and you can ask me any questions. Have a lovely afternoon. Thank you.
Girls! Yeah, that's it. Welcome to Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary. A special welcome to our free flight bird show. My name is Marley, and with the help of the crew out the back, we're going to get you up close to some amazing bird life that we have here in Australia and maybe some around the world as well. Now, did you know the very first modern bird evolved around about 100 million years ago? And in that time, birds have had the ability to adapt to a whole type of different environmental and weather changes. They can be found all over the world, from the blistering desert heat to the freezing cold snow. Since humans have inhabited the earth, we have made an influence on good parts and bad parts for our birds, and birds have had an impact on our lives as well. So birds like Barbie, the red-tailed black cockatoo, she's not doing too well from down the southern end of Australia, our wombat pigeons, and our yellow-tailed black cockatoo. But some birds are doing really, really well around our common crow, as you can hear out the back, our seagulls, and our lovely ibis right here. They're doing extremely well. So throughout the show, I'm going to inform you on a couple of the facts, stories, and maybe even a myth or two that goes along with them. So thank you, Bar, for winding up and warming up the show for us. Please everybody give her a big round of applause. Check out our nice big red tail as she flies back over. Now, are you ready, everybody, to meet the Australia's most flying largest bird? Are you ready to meet him? Yeah, good. Now, he is quite prehistoric. He does not have the best manners, but he is very, very cute. He does love our oceanways, our waterways, and places like that, just as much as we do. Now, this is Marlin. He is an Australian pelican. Pelicans are found all over Australia, from the blistering humid desert heats to the freezing colds of the southern Australia. Now, pelicans rely on the flooding rains to do their breeding. They breed in places like Lake Eyre, salt pan places. These flooding rains hits these places and things begin to hatch, like eggs or crustacea and things like that for their breeding. So wherever they are in Australia, they will fly to places like Lake Eyre to do all their breeding. And once all their breeding has been done, they will fly back to wherever they come from, just like Marlin is doing right now. So thank you very much, Marlin. No, it isn't really. Pelicans are a great reason why we should always pick up our rubbish when we go for our barbecues or go fishing. Because if there's anything that looks a little bit different in their habitat or wherever they're in their environment, they will go out and have a look for them. But that's one bit of extreme weather condition that our birds are relying on. Now, another one is bushfires. But before these next lot of birds come out, ladies and gentlemen, if you are eating anything, please put it away right now. As these birds, they will come out and steal it right from your hands. Even if you're about to put it in your mouth, they will steal your food. They are known as pirates of the skies, but what their common species name is the black fire types. We do have two species with us, but there is 5 species all up together. They are the most common raptors all over the world. We have 2 species here today. We've got one, which is Delta. She is a creamy coloured type. And we do have, this is Delta right here. And we also have the black ones, which also Brook, Delta and Ash. Now, Delta here, she has the sharpest eyes. Now, we've got 2 different types of feeding here. We've got feeding on the wing, our black ones, Brook, Cinder one is the quickest one out. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Got it. So thank you very much. That's their cue to actually go off. So please give them a big round of applause. When it comes to bird intelligence, ladies and gentlemen, bird intelligence is split up into 2 groups. The 2 groups are learners and instinctive birds. Learner birds are like the common crow. They have been witnessed to take a hard-shell nut, go out to a traffic light, walk out, put that nut down, walk back, watch the traffic, run over that nut, walk back out, claim surprise. Now they say they are 1 step away from pressing the pedestrian button. But this next one, sorry Delta, I don't have any more food for you. But our next bird, she will move in a minute, is you look over to the fig tree, you will see a black-breasted buzzard come out from here. And what he's going to do is instinctive. It is said that no bird has talons big enough or strong enough to crack open a hard-shell nut. So what Mate is going to do, if you're up at the back, you can stand up for this little section. Hopefully what he's going to do is spot the emu egg, not the bowl. Over here, honey. Mate, go. Over here. And I'm going to throw him a rock. It is said, over here, honey. This is your rock. This is your rock. There you go. He's going to pick it up and use it like a tool. Like a hammer. Now, what Major is doing has never, ever been taught to him. From the time he is born, he knows to do this trick. So as soon as he comes out of his egg and he sees an emu egg, he knows instinctively to grab a rock and open it up. So Major here, he's a black-breasted buzzard, and his species does not like to live near humans, so they are pretty shy around us. It's only been authenticated in the last 20 years. The Aboriginal people did tell us about it, but as I said, we've only been able to authenticate it in the last 20 years. Thank you, Major. But I've never ever taught Major to do that trick, but Major has taught me a trick. Clean up after him like we do our children. Now this next lot of birds, ladies and gentlemen, if you are up at the back, you need to be seated down. Sitting down on the seats. Everybody needs to be seated because these next lot of birds will fly very, very close to your heads and give you a bit of a haircut. Now, this next bird, we have had an influence on him because of our infrastructures, like our buildings, our churches, warehouses, even farms that you will find these birds living in. But in the wild, in the natural, you will find them in a tree hollow up around like this. Here he is, he's quite cute. His name is Rusty. Rusty is a barn owl. He does have some really very cute features on him. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like you all to be quiet for around about 5 minutes, or 5 seconds basically. We're going to see him fly, hear him fly over, and I want to see if you can hear him flapping his wings. Rusty? Did we hear him? No. And the reason why is because all owls have a silent flow. You're lying. And his feathers are frayed, so he cannot make a noise while he's flying. All owls have this. If they are very, very noisy while they are flying around, their victim will hear them coming and they will not be able to catch their prey. Now he has a lovely heart-shaped disc face. His lovely heart-shaped disc face acts like a satellite to help him locate his prey. You know, all the little tiny feathers around his face grab all the noise and they send them to his ears. Now he's got an ear up on top of his head and and also on the side. He has exceptional hearing. Very, very good. They say he can hear meters away for the heartbeat of his victim. Now, Rusty, the reason why he's doing so well around us is because we introduced the European rat. So wherever you find the European rat, you will find this little cute fluffy rat trap. It is said that he can catch up to 2,000 mice a year. So just imagine if he didn't catch these mice, we would have a lot of trouble with the mice that eating our wheat and everything else. So thank you, Rusty. He can hear the heartbeat of his next victim out the back right now. And Delta's having a good old flying around. He's having a good old play. Now our next bird, he's had an influence on our life. And has anybody heard of the big, hairy, scary swamp monster called the bunyip? Yeah? Well, we're about to meet him right now. Because the big, hairy, scary swamp monster, the bunyip, it is said that he used to go around terrorising women. But in fact, what would happen is that he would yell out a big help sound. And we're going to see if I can place him down here. We might have to get one of his trainers to go up to get him. So he is known as a Harris, and what they would do is people would go out and investigate the big woman screaming that what they would hear of at night time, and what they would find is decapitated animals with their eyes and their brain missing. That's the most nutritious part that they love to eat. Now, also he does have another name as well. He is called also the barking owl. And the reason why he's called the barking owl, because he does make a sound that goes whoop, whoop. Oh, you just did it. Oh, okay. And it doesn't look like he's really interested to come down here this way, Shannon. You might just want to have to lock him up and walk him around for us. That'd be great. So he does make a sound that says whoop, 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 whoop. And that's also his mating calling sound. Only the men do it, not the female. As Shannon is walking around Tui, check him out. Check out some of his features, but you can also check out Shannon too. She don't mind. God bless her. So, as Shannon's walking Tui around, what is the most big prominent feature that you can see on our bird? His eyes. His great big eyes. Now, his great big eyes are stuck into his head. He cannot move his eyes side to side like we do. And if we had eyes like him stuck in our head, it'd like to have two big oranges fixed in our head. So as you see Tui, he will be moving his head constantly 180 degrees that way, 180 degrees that way. And that is because of his eyes are stuck in his head. Now, what makes him be able to do this is that Tui here, he's got twice as many vertebrae in his neck than what we do. We've got 7 vertebrae, he's got 14. Also, one of the other great big features he's got is these nice big talons. These nice big talons are very, very sharp. He's got a crushing power of 180 pounds, sorry, oh my God. But it only takes 90 pounds to crush a human bone. So he is big enough to take down a possum or a salt-crested cockatoo. That's quite amazing for a little bit like that. So thank you very much, Shannon and Tui. Now, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, mums and dads, we all need you to be seated and seated down very, very on your bottom. But mum and dad, if you want, our next bird is, pretty big, so if they are giving you a little bit of a hassle already today, just hang them up, shake them around, because we are about to be dealt with Australia's largest aerial predator. And so, get your cameras out, and no, who are you? I said Australia's largest aerial predator, not Australia's small predator. That is, he is a bush stone curlew. Now, bush stone curlew, his habitat is in a bit of a dire straits destruction as well. Because you'll find sheep along beaches. What do we want to do? Build our nice big mansions along the beach. Or front of their houses, and so they're all in the boom. So please always stay on the tracks there. But seriously, ladies and gentlemen, we will be joined by Australia's largest aerial predator. Oh, Delta. What are you doing out? Okay. We will be joined by Australia's largest aerial predator. And please get your cameras out as she is coming down right now. Get your cameras out, check out her tail. As she comes down. As I said, mate, sit down. Because you don't want her coming for you. Her tail, we can see this tail from 2 kilometres away from standing on the ground. We've had a love-hate relationship with this bird. We actually nearly wiped it out in the early century. So she's going to do 2 more flies. She'll fly up the back once and then she'll fly back down here. She is bigger than our males. When our eagles mate, they mate for life. So she's going to do 1 more fly over here. Here she comes. As I said, she'll fly very, very close to your head and give you a bit of a haircut. There she goes. So thank you for staying. So as I said, we nearly wiped this species out. But what has actually helped bring these species back in its numbers in Australia is the introduction of the motor vehicle and the hare. Now the motor vehicle, it kills a lot of animals for it, and the hare, it just reproduces in a lot of numbers as well. One of the main reasons why we nearly wiped out the species is because we always thought that it was picking up our livestock and carrying it away. But in fact, the eagles love to eat carrion. Carrion is the dead, the dying, and the sick and the injured animals. They help keep all their numbers in check as well. But every minute of every hour of every day, ladies and gentlemen, there is rainforest habitat destruction no matter where we are. We are cutting down rainforest, chopping away the birds' homes. So what we would like everybody to do, if you know anybody that is living in big acreage and things like that, is try to encourage them to put up some nice big boxes. We've got a blue gold-winged macaw right up here. We've got a red gold-green blue macaw. Big bird. We've got Phoenix. Phoenix is another red-tailed black cockatoo. And we'll also have a little Major Mitchell come down out as well, and his name is Squirty. And Squirty does live up to his name. I can hear him. Not quite sure if he will come out. But ladies and gentlemen, that does conclude our show with the actual birds. But what we are going to give you now is a very good opportunity to stand next to a big wedge-tailed eagle that you can have right here at our lake room, where this little scrubbage just over the train track. And all you got to do is just go and line up there. And you can have his...
Yeah, they're there. I'm going to say bye-bye to them. Hey, door.
Look, the babies are eating these too.
Yes.
Do you know where this one is?
Sale todo de la foto.
I'm going to get caught up with my sleeping.
Oh.
I think that Mama was saying, could you get off my back then? There's another little baby somewhere in that bush who fell off.
El mayor.
Baby's going, oh God. Where's Mum?
There's the little baby, look. Yep. He's the little baby?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
He got left behind.
That was the three that we saw.
It was.
Two babies. These weren't very tasty numbers.
Baby.
Yung pa isang may isa pang maliit.
Hi everyone, my name's Ryan. I'm a mammal keeper here at Currumbin Wildlife Sanctuary. So in this enclosure we have all female koalas, and you guys might have spotted a few of our joeys that might be out and about today. So a joey is what we call a baby koala, and it's born about the size of a jelly bean after a 30-day pregnancy. So it's pretty small. It then has to make its way up into mum's pouch where it'll stay for about 4 to 6 months, and then after that it'll start coming out of the pouch and hanging onto mum's back, which is exactly what this one's doing. It'll then stay with mum for another further 6 months, so which is probably about the size of the one that's just in the back there. And they'll stay with mum until they're approximately about 12 to 13 months old. So after that time, they're getting pretty big, and mum's getting a bit fed up with having a pretty big baby on her back. So she'll kick it out, and it'll be on its own for the rest of its life. And so then they become sexually mature after about 2 years. So what we're feeding them here today is the eucalyptus leaf. And so there's about 1,000 species of eucalyptus leaf, and they only eat about 50 of them. So to give you an idea on how little that is, out of all the eucalyptus trees in this whole park, there's only probably about a handful of trees that they eat. So we've actually got gum cutters that go out and cut gum for them nearly every day. So yeah, they get pretty spoiled with a whole lot of variety of their favourite gum. So a lot of people think that koalas get drunk off the leaves. That's not true. When the koalas are probably a little bit smaller than this one here, mum will feed them this concoction that we call pat, which is kind of like a pooey mixture which allows them to digest the toxins, and so they're able to eat it. And so yeah, the leaves actually only contains about 5% energy. So it's equivalent to us eating lettuce our whole lives. So you can imagine we wouldn't be moving around too much if that's all we ate. So they will actually sleep 20 hours a day, and only really active during feeding time or at night time when it's more energy efficient. So yeah, the word koala actually means no drink in Aboriginal. So these guys barely ever come down to the ground to drink. They get all the water from the leaf. So it contains about 80% water. So you can see some of these guys sitting in some pretty weird and funky positions. You must think, how the hell is that comfortable? They've actually got a bone plate on their back area of their body, which allows them, so they've pretty much got like a deck chair strapped to their bum. So they'll pretty much curl up and go to sleep anywhere. Yeah, if you guys do go over to koala photos and hold a koala, you'll feel how soft and thick their fur is. And that's because if you have a look at this enclosure, there's actually no shelter for them. So in the wild, they'll just curl up into a ball and they use that thick coat to keep them nice and insulated in the wet. And you'll see sometimes in the real hot days, they'll kind of be like dangling and hanging out. Looks like they're sleeping in some pretty weird positions, and that's how they keep cool in the summertime. So yeah, koalas will live about 8 to 10 years in the wild, but in captivity it's more around the 16-year mark. So we have one female in the very far enclosure there. She's the dark and really small one. She's 16 years old. So yeah, I think the oldest in captivity today is about 22. Getting pretty old. So they're different colours. So yeah, they're just same as us, how we have different colour. So you can see on this one, the mum's quite a light colour, but the joey's quite a dark colour. So her dad would be quite a dark koala. That's also one of the easy ways for us to identify them as well. Yeah.
How old would this joey be?
So this joey is actually about 2 weeks out of the pouch. So it'll be about 4.5 months old. So yeah. Yep, so he can still go back to the pouch. Yep. Yep, so the pouch is in the front, pretty much exactly like the cat. So yeah, these guys they have 2 teeth, so they can actually have twins, but it's very uncommon. But we've found in captivity when they're in like a social area like this, they'll actually look after each other's joeys. So we've got one in here, Shani. Yeah, she's what we call the babysitter. So she looks after them sometimes. We'll come in the morning and there'll be up to 4 joeys on it. So.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Which one is she? She's the one over here at the moment. But yeah, sometimes the mums kind of ditch their babies on her and have a rest.
Do they have predators?
Sorry?
Do they have predators? Do they have predators?
So their main predators are us. So
Is that right?
yeah, so we're cutting down their forests and that, and built they're getting hit by quite a few cars, and also our feral dogs and even your pet dogs. So you think with their big sharp claws they'll be able to take on and look after themselves, but they're just not that agile. It's not as agile as a dog, and these guys come second off, unfortunately. So we get a few of them coming through in the hospital, for those reasons.
Do they have a predator in the forest besides human?
So not really, no. Maybe when they're like a small joey, maybe some of the raptors and owls and that would be able to take them, but yeah, it's not very common. They barely ever spend much time on the ground for that reason.
Are they endangered?
So they're threatened.
They're threatened?
So yeah, they're saying probably in the next 15 years, they're going to have some serious problems if we don't start sorting out how we're managing where they're living.
Are they a cousin of the panda?
No, so a lot of people say koala bear. They're not bears at all.
Yes.
Because I'll move
The
that.
pandas are not marsupial.
No. Yeah. See, I'll be heading over to our wombat enclosure next to our dingoes, and I'll see if I can get our southern hairy-nosed wombat out for a little bit of food. So yeah, I can't promise anything as it is quite warm. But yeah, hopefully I can get her out. So that's just the enclosure next to the dingoes.
They normally just eat all day, or are they trained to come at this time because you put the pressure on?
Yeah, so they usually they'll eat a bit now as soon as we put it in, and then they'll wait till later on when it's like a bit darker and it's a bit cooler for them. So yeah, that's why we feed them at this time, so you guys can see them active and jumping around. So yeah, if you guys want to head over to the wombat enclosure, I'll see if I can get our southern hairy-nosed wombat out.
Bye.